name is Susan Shaheen, and I'm a professor in civil and environmental engineering, and I'm co-director of the Transportation Sustainability Research Center. And I am working in innovation and disruption in transportation. So we study a lot of the latest technologies and services in transportation. We're looking at services like Uber and Lyft and microtransit services like Via and Chariot. We also work on a lot of the bike sharing systems. We're also working on automated cars, and we're starting to work on urban air mobility, so things like drones and flying cars. So our team is quite large. There's about 10 of us, and we are heavily supported by our research administrator, our contracts and grants officer, and many other individuals support our day-to-day research activities, and we wouldn't be able to do what we do without their support.
Hi, I'm Carl Van Bibber. I'm professor of nuclear engineering here at Cal. I've been here on the campus about half a dozen years. I still feel a little bit like a newbie. I've just finished serving as chair of the department. I came here and have served for 6 years as chair of the nuclear engineering department, and recently have taken up new responsibilities as the associate dean for research. And I think these three roles have given me each a different aspect and an appreciation for the research enterprise and for the great work that all of you have done. And I wish I could be with you today. I hope you have a great party. You really deserve it, and this is, I think, a very nice way of expressing the campus's appreciation for everything you do. Coming here as a new faculty member, I think even at my at a very senior phase in my career, I was, I think, had the same apprehensions as a new assistant professor, getting my sea legs here, and I can say that I've been very, very well supported with the three different RSOs that I've had who have supported me, all extremely talented and very cheerful and hardworking people that have really helped me succeed, get my traction here in my own research program here on campus. As chairman of the department, I'm very proud of the fact that our very small department has the highest research expenditures per FTE of all the departments in the College of Engineering, or about tied with the bioengineering department. It's a very high performing department. Being a small department, we rely heavily on our sponsored research funds. And the research enterprise here at Cal have really helped us succeed.
All right, so my name is Richmond Sarpong. I'm on the faculty in the Department of Chemistry in the College of Chemistry. I'm a full professor here at Berkeley. I've been here for 14 years, going on my 15th year, and I'm also going to become the Executive Associate Dean of the College of Chemistry beginning in July. So my research group consists of about 27 coworkers, so there are 14 graduate students and 13 postdocs. And we work primarily in the area of organic chemistry and organic synthesis. And so if you've ever taken any medicine, which I think all of us have, you've probably experienced some organic chemistry. And so we work on trying to find new ways to improve how we make pharmaceuticals. And so we work very closely with the NIH, so a lot of our funding comes from the NIH, as well as with pharmaceutical companies, where I both collaborate with the companies in terms of our research, but also actually serve as a consultant for some of these companies. All right, so given my research interests, we obviously work very closely with a lot of the folks in the research administration area. And so I've worked primarily with two RAs who have been excellent. They've been almost like big sisters to me because they have to keep me in line in terms of our spending as well as acquisition of new funding. And so I'm very grateful to them for really helping us with extrapolating on our funding and being careful about how we spend our funds. Of course, we've also worked very closely with SPO and Our person that we work with closely at SPO has been very, very much proactive in going above and beyond to make sure that they're able to accommodate us when it comes to submitting proposals very close to the deadline and working with us to make sure that they're submitted on time. One of the things that I'm horrible at is I'm not so good at math, and that's actually why I'm an organic chemist. And so having somebody help us with budgeting and putting together the budgets for our proposals has been really great, and so the RAs have been very beneficial from that standpoint.
Hi, my name is Sujay King Liu, and I'm a professor of electrical engineering and computer sciences here at UC Berkeley. I conduct research in nanoelectronics to enable ever more capable and more energy efficient electronic devices that can be used not only to improve productivity and convenience of everyday life, but also to address grand challenges for society, such as sustainable energy and environment, health, safety, and security. I'm very grateful for the timely and professional support of the staff. Often they work beyond normal working hours, sometimes on weekends, actually oftentimes on weekends, in support of my research proposals. I also rely on my RA to make sure that each of my graduate students and postdocs is financially supported adequately so that I can focus on mentoring them in research. I've also benefited from the support of the Berkeley Research Development Office. They've provided invaluable advice for limited submission proposals and work effectively with my RA as well as SPO to allow multiple rounds of revision to perfect the proposal before it is submitted. I've been impressed and inspired by the staff with whom I work. They really are helping to further the research mission of our university to create and apply new knowledge for the benefit of society.
Wonderful in that regard. I will say generally, as much as faculty might appear to know what they're doing, we often don't. I certainly do not. What I think I'm good at is identifying really great and passionate people to work with in terms of my coworkers, but that's also been true in terms of the research support staff that we have at Berkeley. And so I'm always impressed with the dedication and camaraderie that people have for working together.
Well, my name is Britt Glonsinger, and I'm a professor in the Department of Plant and Microbial Biology. And I'm a virologist. I work on herpes viruses, actually, not the kind that most people think about, but a kind that are associated with cancer in certain types of people who have compromised immune systems. And the focus of my lab is to try and understand how, when these viruses are infecting their cells, how they're sort of taking over and hijacking host cells' machinery to convert the cell into basically a virus-generating factory. And we're really interested in using the virus as a tool to better understand how our own cells express and regulate their own genes, and then how those sorts of processes can go wrong during infection. And my lab in general is funded largely by the National Institutes of Health, the NIH, and so we have a number of grants through them. There's also sort of smaller independent grants that we've gotten through the California AIDS Research Program and places like the Keck Foundation and Burroughs Wellcome and Damien Runyon fund some of the fellows to do the research in the lab. Yeah, I would really like to thank all of the staff that have worked with me, and that sort of covers a broad spectrum of people. I'm really appreciative of not only the research administrator that works directly with me, who I've found to be incredibly responsive, both to me and my lab manager requesting annual meetings to go over our budget, helping sort of us to plan how we're going to coordinate the various funding sources and put forward new grants. I've often, we often get around to sending emails sometimes close to the deadline, and I've found them to be incredibly responsive and flexible and respectful and really just extremely professional individuals to work with. I also have to say that we do a lot of sort of material requests, and so working with that office to get that paperwork in line, always very responsive. I find that people get back to me almost as soon as I send them an email, a lot of times, at least to give me a sense of how long I need to wait for something or what information they need. And same thing with Sponsored Projects Office. I really appreciate their professionalism and the amount of hard work that they do sort of collating all of the funding agency information and grant reporting information that we depend on really heavily on a very regular basis. And I appreciate that it's a huge amount of work and that they have to coordinate many, many different things, but they're really integral to my ability to run the lab and our ability to do our research, and so I'm very thankful for that.
My name is Dan Fletcher. I'm in the Department of Bioengineering and the Biophysics program. And my research focuses on understanding how cells are organized, how they move, and we develop technologies, optical technologies for measuring them, and we also develop diagnostic instruments that use what we learn to help diagnose diseases. The kinds of sponsors that we usually work with are NIH, NSF, some DOE, foundations like the Gates Foundation, and a range of others. I think one thing that's common that I see both for myself and my colleagues are that we often ask for things that are virtually impossible, such as we ask, I've just heard about this grant, can I get it approved today? I just have an idea for a project, can I get a budget in the next 10 minutes? And we often make these unreasonable requests because we think all of the RAs, SPO people, etc. are magic and that they can accomplish things magically. Now, while that might not be true, there are enough examples of heroic things being accomplished that it perpetuates the idea that as soon as I need something, I can ask and it will happen. And I do realize that puts undue pressure and stress on everyone in that support network, but it happens a lot and it's greatly appreciated.
Researchers, I think what I'm so impressed by the research support officers and all the other members of the URSO team is they're dealing with faculty like myself who are ourselves very stressed. Our lives are very complex. We teach, we do a lot of service work. We do a lot of research. We're responsible for many, many students, research students. We have to travel a fair amount. So we're distracted, we're chaotic, and if they're like me, maybe a little bit scatterbrained, we're trying to do the right thing. We're trying to make your lives not unduly difficult, but I'm just sort of undyingly grateful for how my RSOs have been there to remind me about important deadlines, who've corrected the format, corrected the content of the documentation I've provided, such that everything that's gone in has really been absolutely perfectly done on time, and I think you've contributed to the very high success rate of our proposals and the satisfaction of our sponsors in all the reporting we've done thereafter. So I've gone on too long. I want to thank you for everything you've done and let you get back to your party.